After all the dedication, commitment, and perseverance shown throughout the consecutive years of studying, it is time to harvest from the hard work. Sleepless nights, sweat, and sacrifices. It is time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Unizulu graduation 2023. Stay tuned.
The ceremony closed, they left the stage. Nobody is allowed to move. Ngicela sibuke ama-exit, ama-emergencies, angisho ukuthi khona okuzokwenzeka. Kuneminyango ephezulu esingaphuma kuyona, bakhona ozakwethu who are wearing blue shirts.
Mama, I made it. Happy belated. I drop the top to the Porsche and I stick out my head and scream, Mama, I made it. Mama, I made it. Happy belated. They call me the greatest. I drop the top to the Porsche and I stick out my head and scream, Mama, I made it. I drop the top to the Porsche and I stick out my head and scream, Mama, I made it. Mama, I made it. Happy belated. They call me the greatest. I drop the top to the Porsche and I stick out my head and scream, Mama, I made it.
Hello guys and welcome to your favorite show. It's
GRAD on the Start. Tommy, today we're walking down the red carpet. It's your girl Amanda Ndlovu.
And with Samsung Masbisi.
And today we'll be interviewing people from the Faculty of Arts.
Yep, and guys, we're at the venue. The parents are walking in. The choir is preparing. The place looks good and neat. It's ready for action.
Tommy, let us not waste more time. Let us both go and interview these people.
The both of us
Let us go, Tommy.
Bangene.
Please state your names and nokuthi nifila kanjani namhlanje.
Mfethu igama lami ngina ngumandla ngaphoyisa ngawamethula mfethu indlela engijabule ngayo mfethu ukuthi namhlanje ngizothola isitifiketi sami emva kweyikhanda okungaka udela ubuthongo mfethu ukudela ukudla sometimes mfethu ubona ukuthi insiza azikho but uyikhande wazi ukuthi ufunani empilweni wazi ukuthi ufuna ukuvicha igoli yakho mfethu uwork towards ivision yakho so kuthi nje uyimisela ngiyithanda ukubonga kakhulu abazali bami abathungeseka kakhulu
I'm excited wazabamba khona even though biqhama emakhaya angekho right but namhlanje sulethu sijabule kakhulu graduate and everyone is happy ama families are happy basihlele into ezithile sazi ukuthi izinto lezo kodwa nje sonke sijabulile
Mase ngene stage guys mapha ama celebrations and ma planning ukuthi nizowenza
mina ivosho noma kanjani
I will share ivosho nje sengani Yes
ngiyabona nje ukuthi nami ngikubuza excitement bafethu ngiyazi ukuthi ngi-jovial mood nje ngathi uku-excite babona abazali ukuthi hayi le ndoda isebenzile kakhulu nayo ijabule ngoba ithuba elifana leli bafethu livela kancane
ngijabule ngale ndlela and unfortunately angikwazi ukukhombisa ukujabula kwami yilo muntu ophansi kuba ngiyakwazi ngabe ngiyamemeza ngiyasina
nevosho
uyabona yonke leyo nto kodwa i-feeling right and wonke umuntu onamaphupho kumele awa-pursue. It's very important ukuthi nawe ube umuntu ebantwini nawe ube na-something.
Guys, I hope you listen to that. Sanibona ma?
Yeah.
Ma undodakazi uya graduate namhlanje. Ukhona amazwi onawo for yena?
Ngijabula kakhulu. Ngiphakamisa uNkulunkulu nje amandla akhe ukuthi uNkulunkulu muhle. Nje ekuhluphekeni kwami uNkulunkulu ngizwele waze wafika la ekugcineni.
Sambunan. Ninjani. Sis wami, ngidonswa i-outfit yakho. I saw you from afar. Please tell me who dressed you and how do you feel today?
Okay, I'm very honored. It's a big day for me. I was dressed by Nelsa Kumalo, actually working at Durban, and my makeup artist, it was done by Teksha. And I'm so happy, and literally I'm so happy.
Mawam, uzizwa kanjani into yazi yakho igrade namhlanje?
Ngizizwa ngijabule kakhulu. Ukuthi angazi ngendlela ngijabule ngakhona njena. Ukuthi angazi. Ukuthi
Kia, Makia, yes! Yes, no? So, Sandra-sam, maybe advice ongayinika i-future generation abafuna ukufunda e-university?
Okay, first of all, I would say ora et labora. That means you need to study and pray.
Yes.
And ukuhlonipha abazali bakho is what brought me here. This is actually my second graduation.
Yes.
As you can see, Mawami Koge is in Ezutu. That actually means it's not mine. It's for my mother.
Yes.
All my sacrifices that I'm doing in Mawam. So it all thanks to God and to my mother for working her.
All the best, guys, Zaidi. I'm deciding that in the future, and you look sexy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Sanibonani guys.
Yeah,
You good?
Safi.
Ngiyabona khona sesograduate namhlanje. How are you feeling?
I'm overexcited.
Kunjani graduation and how's it been prepare for usuku namhlanje?
Oh, it was very busy, lot of hard work. But yeah, I've made it.
Okay. Uma khona umuntu ongathi umnikeza i-motivation ukuthi ukuze afike kulo suku lakhe lokugrada ukuthatha ini ukuze afike kule level okuyona.
Guys, engabusho nje you need to study. Akukho ukudlula ukufunda because akubona umlimi lethe senza la is not like ngilale ngavuka ngagrade ngifundile for 3 years ngafunda ngaqeda. Now hard work pays, so like ngiyagraduate namhlanje and ngijabule kakhulu.
Wow. Okay, so okuchazeleke mufika lapha uzoyenza something, uzodansa, uzoyenza njani? How are you going to celebrate?
I'm planning to do something, but I don't know what. But
oh, okay, but uzobu happy.
Yeah, I have to show off. I'm happy and I've made it.
Okay, ngiyabonga sisami and enjoy your day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sharp.
Hello, guys, again. Sadly, we've reached the end of our episode.
Yes, guys, we've seen the venue, we've interviewed the graduates, and it's time for us to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Whoa! Remember, my Unizulu.
Your Unizulu.
Our Unizulu.
Great one.
Can we please stand as they're coming in? Can please stand?
By virtue of the powers vested in me as the acting chancellor of the University of Zululand, I hereby consecute this congregation for the conferment of degrees and awarding of diplomas and certificates. You may be seated.
I'm reading from 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 10 to 11. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Whoever speaks as one who speaks oracles of God, whoever serves as one who serves by the strength that God supplies, in order that in everything God may be glorified through Jesus Christ. To him belong glory and dominion forever and ever. Let us pray. Almighty and all-knowing God, you impart gifts to your people to use them to serve you and your people. We pray that as we begin the proceedings of this day, we may be truly thankful for such gifts. We praise you for everything that commerce and industry has done for our nation, our economy, and our daily lives. We thank you for the value that our businesses generate, which allows us to secure the services that our families require. We give thanks to you for how the public sector can improve the quality of the air we breathe, the water we drink, the transportation and communication system, and all other services we require in our country. We thank you for the justice system whose job is to see to the fair treatment of all your citizens. Lord, we are but aware that our selfishness and occasionally destructive behavior allow us to squander these gifts. Today we bring to you our personal failures in our daily work. We have been terrible stewards of your blessings. We have not given you praise or labored in your love. We acknowledge our industrial and the public sector's flaws, the ongoing injustice brought by the unequalness of our society, the lack of harmony, inability and worse, refusal to explore paths of reconciliation. We acknowledge that after the dawn of democracy, everybody relaxed. But Lord, our joy was short-lived. We are confronted by dilapidating cities. Our roads are a mess. Load shedding has become part of our daily bread. The thuggery we grew up only seeing in movies is now normal. And those who are supposed to protect others collude with the looters and gangsters. Lord, nothing works in our country. Have compassion on us and allow us, as the workshop at Nazareth was blessed by the labor of Christ, so the workshops of our land may be enhanced by the labor of those who are entrusted with leadership and delivering services to our nation. We pray that you may please support these students as they work to responsibly utilize their gifts for the good of the communities they will serve. Help them to carry out your plan for humanity. Please grant them the fortitude to behave with modesty, honesty, respect, and tolerance today and every day of their lives. Lord, help them to detest corruption and laziness they will see in the public sector, in businesses, and in courts where they will serve. Lord, we also beseech you to cover them and their CVs with your eternal grace, so that those who have no shame of asking for bribes from the already struggling applicants and those with an appalling behavior of using their private parts to offer employment may be confused and confounded and offer them employment forcefully. Lord, I also pray that the blessings of employment may chase them down and overtake them, so that when they knock at the doors where they will knock, your blessings will already be there. Lord, in faith, I receive on their behalf the blessings of employment. In Jesus' name, amen.
Chancellor, Chief Justice Raymond Nyamezeli Zondo, in absentia, Chairperson of University Council, Ms. Noma Rashia Taluza, in absentia, the Deputy Chairperson of University Council, Dr. Andrew Kaniki, Vice Chancellor and Acting Chancellor, Professor Kolisa Mtose, members of Council, President of Convocation, Mr. Nkwanyana, in absentia, members of the Executive and Extended Management, members of Senate, Chair of the Institutional Forum, Professor Schreiling, all university staff members, representatives from the Mkwanazi Traditional Authority, the Chief of the Local Traditional Authority, the SRC President, Mr. Semukela Kumalo, business partners, donors, and sponsors, the student body at large, parents, guardians, and relatives of the graduandi. Most importantly, our graduandi. I also acknowledge the presence of our honorable guest speaker, Professor Boss. Good morning. Sanibonani. Molweni. Kuyamore. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Zululand, Professor Mtose, it is with a sense of profound collective triumph that I welcome you to the first of a series of the 2023 graduation ceremonies that are lined up to take place this week. These occasions have become an annual ritual where all of us, graduates, parents, and guardians, sponsors, society at large, as well as university staff, commemorate the pinnacle of the work we've done over the years. Beyond the festivities, a graduation ceremony must be seen as a moment of deep reflection. It symbolizes a bridge we cross in a lifelong journey of human progress, from basic and foundational knowledge and encountered and acquired during the first time we interact at the chalk door, to the attainment of higher order knowledge, skills, and competencies that equip us with capabilities for making a difference in society. In this sense, the awarding and or conferment of a qualification is not an end in itself. It is an impetus for lifelong learning that should spew out new imaginations for the development of better life for all, free from the shackles of poverty, inequality, and other forms of human strife. Indeed, the ideas of creating a better life for all are implied in the debates about the purpose of university education. At the University of Zululand, that is Unizulu, as I will illustrate later, we subscribe to a perspective which advocates and promotes a form of education that produces and disseminates knowledge and competencies, which enable graduates to engage in meaningful and productive work aimed at enhancing the livelihoods of the populace. In this connection, we draw insights from thinkers such as Franz Fanon, who espoused that, I quote, "What matters is not to know the world, but to change it." Fanon goes on, I quote again, "In the world through which I travel, I am endlessly creating myself." Close quotes. The purpose of university education, driven by such thinking, must manifest at three levels of society, that is the macro, the meso, and micro levels. At the macro or wider societal level, one of the main implications to derive from Fanon's words of wisdom is that the number and quality of graduates that exit universities must constitute the building blocks and catalysts to be deployed for the development of a learning society or a society that learns. Scholars like Han 2019 have described a learning society as, I quote, "a model society in which the collective learning process is prevalent, equipped with competency to solve the problems inside by itself through consistent emergent evolution and learning." Close quotes. Striving to achieve the status of a learning society is lauded as a game changer in the transformation of a given political economy and the attainment of sustainable development. We, therefore, must look up to our graduates to become protagonists for the creation of a learning South African society. The melting pot for all this is at university or meso level. At Unizulu, we have embraced the responsibility to build a learning institution, one where continuous learning is used to transcend stifling preoccupation with survival demands and setting the organization on to a higher order service-oriented growth. The history of Unizulu attests to a trajectory that has seen the institution emerge from the proverbial edge of an abyss, poised between failure and success, and evolving to become a rekindled university that is being set onto a path of reinvention anchored on an unexcelled Vision 27, under the mantra of building Unizulu as a node for African thought. Launched in November 2022, we can appreciate the significance of the idea of African thought when we juxtapose it with Western thought or worldview. We can recall that in recent years, South African universities had to deal with the #students campaigns, which called for a decolonized university curriculum, among other things. The use of Western-based literature to support learning. The student movement also resonated with a growing body of contemporary academic intellectual currents that have characterized the current curriculum in African universities as one of the main mechanisms by which colonial power continues to be exercised in ways that sustain the oppressive world order. Much like what Steve Biko observed, that, I quote, the most potent weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed, close quote. Put in another way, by continuing to subject students to a curriculum aligned to the oppressor, the colonizer achieves compliance through mental control. That is on the way people think. Such a state of affairs is not only dehumanizing, it also clearly shows a purpose of education that is in dissonance with the objective needs and interests of our people. Given this understanding, Unizulu, as a learning university, has sought to position itself as a key player in what has become a global project to become a node of thought, which champions the development of alternative curricula that privilege the up to now marginalized indigenous African knowledge system, as well as ways of knowing. In this way, the Unizulu Vision 27 envisages a nuanced understanding of the purpose of university education. It goes beyond a narrow conception of education, which produces employable but dehumanized human capital, to one that encompasses emancipatory and liberative function. Maringa et al. 2021 capture this thinking succinctly when they state that, I quote, the purposes of education under decolonization must be about transformation, correcting previous imbalances, unlearning old models, relearning new models of thinking, creating new models for new understandings, and developing new forms of human empowerment. These universities must establish a moral university that respects the plurality of voices. Then, there is no way we can or should continue to ignore the local voices. We need not to become trapped by the same snaps which colonizers come to as they believe that theirs was the more superior knowledge base. In other ways, while university education can be used for certification, at Unizulu, we fully subscribe to the view that it also plays an important, preeminent role in the development of public consciousness, in the generation of new knowledge and competences that are necessary for meaningful functioning in a complex and ever-changing modern society. Inside the melting pot of universities are individual students who, in the final analysis, constitute the locus of investment in the decolonization and transformation efforts. It is at this micro level that transformative learning takes place and gets aggregated at societal level. In this connection, Unizulu has continuously paid attention to the enhancement of graduate attributes, that is graduateness, motivation has been to help students acquire a set of personal qualities, competencies, and values over and above the cognitive skills of their disciplines. Cultivating graduateness includes the development of certain attitudes and orientations towards the labor market, self-development, and responsible citizenship. The purpose here is to strike a balance between education for the marketplace and education for good citizenship, so that by the time a student exits university, he or she is a rounded individual. By allowing a student to graduate, the university is therefore making a powerful statement about the individual's readiness to take up his or her rightful place as a productive citizen in an increasingly complex and unpredictable world. It is a world in which, on the one hand, a graduate has to grapple with challenges of correcting the past by participating in the recalibration of development in terms of local indigenous populations in a way that re-establishes their dignity and self-determination. And on the other hand, championing in an inclusive way the so-called smart approaches to development in the context of the fourth industrial revolution, digital and technological advances. There is no option to ignore or even choose to prioritize these imperatives of modern South African life, as they have become embedded in the purpose of university education. I am pleased to inform you that in 2023, we are graduating a total number of 3,542 students, and 3,100 of which are undergraduates, 289 honors, 77 masters, and 48 doctorates. The quality of the graduates we produce is as important as the number that successfully meet the requirements of their qualifications. In this respect, the purpose of university education is to achieve equity of student success. Unizulu, as a so-called historically disadvantaged institution, has made huge strides towards flattening the statistical curve showing severe underperformance of the underprivileged students, who constitute most of our students. Our strategy of making student success the driving force of our teaching and learning practice is showing results. In one of his books, The Pedagogy of the Heart, a Brazilian educationist we all know, Paulo Freire, wrote that, I quote, "I recognize the obstacles, but I refuse to resign in silence." Close quote. This statement captures the spirit with which we are overcoming impediments to achieving equity of student success. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to invite you, the graduates, to join the University of Zululand Convocation. This is a statutory body of which you automatically become a member by virtue of obtaining a qualification from this university. The convocation elects members to university structures and through its affiliated alumni associations, supports the work of the university in many other ways. We hope that as an alumnus, you will be able to contribute to the success of this university in a number of ways. We are also confident that the success you are celebrating today will energize you to actively ensure that your alma mater continues to soar to greater heights of excellence. Once again, a warm welcome and wish you a meaningful and productive after university. I thank you. As I conclude once again, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, Professor Peter Goss. I will briefly go through his biography. Professor Peter Goss is a self-coined academic, that is practitioner academic, and an established practicing expert in the governance of organizations, anti-corruption strategy, and forensic audit investigation. He spends most of his time operating in the Southern Africa region as a strategic board advisor, providing advisory services out of his niche subject matter expert consultancy, PG Governance, which focuses on corporate governance, board evaluation, and director induction training, and strategy facilitation. His academic qualifications derive from part-time correspondence studies at the University of South Africa, commonly known as UNISA, over the course of his career. These qualifications are a PhD, that is a doctorate in criminal justice from the College of Law. His research thesis developed a new integrated model for corporate governance and corporate corruption after evaluating corporate governance measures applied by the business sector to address corruption. A Master of Arts degree in criminal justice from the College of Law, culminating in a full dissertation on this subject, strategic role of the business sector in combating corruption. A 4-year postgraduate Bachelor of Technology degree in forensic investigation from the College of Law, UNISA, and a 3-year national diploma in police administration at the Police Practice Faculty of Technikon, South Africa. These publications can be located via a Google search for Peter Goss, South Africa. These include authoring and publishing 3 books titled Corporate Governance and Illicit Conduct, Guidance for Boards, Management, Company Secretaries, and Combined Assurance Providers, published in 2017. Fraud and Corruption Risk Governance, published in 2015 and launched by Professor Goss before a professional peer-level audience in Las Vegas, USA, at the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners and Forensic Investigation Process, published in 2013. He visits as a part-time professor of practice in corporate governance and forensic audit investigation at the University of Johannesburg, in the College of Business and Economics, and in the Faculty of Law. Prof. Goss has been teaching part-time in corporate governance for 10 years and forensic investigation 20 years at the University of Johannesburg, where 2 of his 3 published books are prescribed textbooks. Amongst his many governance and leadership roles are the following. Current chairman of the board of directors of Comric, a strategic risk company formed by South Africa's major telecommunications companies. Current corporate governance expert, assisting in drafting and supporting the dissemination of the International Organization for Standardization's ISO 37000, guidance for the governance of organizations. Current forensic audit expert advisor on the South African Auditor General's Advisory Committee for Material Irregularities, that is the ACMI, established in terms to the Public Audit Amendment Act. Retired chairman of the Board of Trustees Nominations Committee for Discovery Health Medical Scheme. Former governing board member and board remuneration committee member at both PricewaterhouseCoopers, that is PwC Southern Africa, and Unizulu Gobodo, SNG, which is now SNG Grant Thornton. Former partner and lead director managing businesses in both PwC and SNG, and former chairman of the Institute of Directors Working Group for Public Services, drafting a corporate governance framework for the public sector in South Africa. The Chancellor, may I call upon Professor Peter Goss to present his speech. Thank you.
To my host, Chancellor, and the Vice Chancellor, and to the Chairperson of the Council, to all guests invited, and to you, ladies and gentlemen, the most important people here today, the graduates. I've been asked to deliver to you a motivational talk for the 10 or 15 minutes or so that I should address you. I think it's said to be 20 minutes. I am a pracademic. That's the beginning of my motivational talk. You all have beautiful degrees and you wear black robes and red robes, and you have many more degrees to come as you go through your career. I want to walk you through some different journeys that get you to where you are and beyond. The most important journey that will get you to beyond is the journey of recognizing that you've hardly started even if you have a PhD. I got my first degree after 25 years of working. I've been working for 35 years. In 2012, I did not have a degree. The point I want to make to you is not my storyline. It is the storyline of what life has to offer you. The most important thing about what you're doing here today, PhD, national diploma graduate, is you're paving the way for life. Your degree is not life. In 2012, I woke up with a 3-year national diploma and I said to myself, enough of being lazy. Get on with reading because it will carry you beyond 50 and might carry you until you are 90. Because when you are 50 or 56 like me, you might feel quite stranded with your PhD. As you might feel quite stranded with your first national diploma, or bachelor's degree. So as not to be stranded, the first lesson I want to leave you with: life is a lifelong journey of learning. You have just begun that journey from a different place, from a diploma place, from a degree place, from a PhD place. You've just simply started a new journey when you've gotten yourself to sit out here. And that new journey is really dependent on how you use what you got. The trick with qualifications is to use what you got. In 2012, I was 42. At 42, I was an established international expert on many matters. I'd written a book. I did not have a degree. The point I keep making to you about that is that it is not prerequisite for success in life. My father went to standard 6. I'm not sure which is the right white lie he tells us, whether he had JC, standard 8, or standard 6. My mother didn't complete sub A. That doesn't matter about where I'm going and where one can go, is what I want to say to you. We all have difficult circumstances in our upbringings. We all have alcoholics in our upbringings. We all have sick people in our upbringings. We all have seemingly successful people in our upbringings. What you got to keep in mind, graduates, including PhD graduates, some of whom look about as old as my 56, including you PhD graduates, is what you got to worry about is what you're going to do with what you got. Life is only about what you do with what you got, and nobody got nothing. I tell you now, nobody got nothing. My mother, who went to class 1 and didn't finish class 1, she went to class 1 and she walked out the door, I think, at some point in time, too early. Life is what you do with what you got. She made this. She made 3 others like me. Life is what you do with what you got. Will you keep that in your minds? This thing you think you got is going to be about as effective and take you about as far as nowhere or somewhere. I go back to those words. There's nothing predetermined for you. What is predetermined for you is what you will determine for you. You have one substantial advantage. I wish I was you. I wish I sat in front of an audience like this, maybe in my 20s, and got my first degree routinely like people do, some people who are better than me and less lazier than me. I was lazy. Eh? I wish I could have sat here and gotten my first degree at 21 like my daughter, who got her first degree at 21. She's now 25. She hasn't had a proper job yet. So the degree won't do it for you. She's gone back now at 25 to finish a master's degree, and I hope she'll now step up into tackling real life, and real life is about getting active with life. Activity with life makes life. Sitting on your eggs and hoping that they'll hatch will not make life. I want to give you that message, that what you do with what you got will get you forward. And forward is forever. Let me tell you now, nobody stops forward. When I got to 50 and I was panicking in my late 40s about my qualifications, and I was some big shot managing director of international companies, as you see them reading here. The first time, Chancellor, somebody read my CV so much, I'm like shocked. Oh, academic things, they read things. It felt like they're reading about me here. I should have written some more on the CV. When I got to panicking in my late 40s about how senior I was in corporate and how threatened, I was threatened by my seniority because I knew I could not be this senior person until I die. I have to decide what seniority means until I die. And I bumped into these three old men on a committee I sat with at one of the medical schemes where I was chairing a committee for them. And two of them, one was 82 and one was 79. And I'll tell you this little story to show you how sexy life can be going forward. You won't believe me, these two old men, I'm calling them that, forgive me for the seeming ageism. I want to use the analogy for you. These two old men sat with me in 2-hour meetings, and we paid them 14,000 Rand for a 2-hour meeting. One is 79 and one is 82. That's what's waiting for you if you want it. If money is your driver. Can you imagine you retire at 60? Both of them retired at 60. They were called old when they were 60. I'm old in 4 years' time for the record. Eh? They called them old when they were 60. Eh? And they worked 20 more years and could earn for a 2-hour meeting 14,000 Rand to attend a 2-hour meeting if money is your driver. I think anybody who says money is not a driver does not understand life. Money empowers. Money allows you to help others. How much money is a separate matter. It's not important. How much money? Enough to help others is my formula for money. Enough to help others and enough to help yourself. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean to help others? You have just gotten your first little tool in the toolbox. If it's your first degree, if it's your first diploma, and you have gotten another tool in your toolbox if it's a PhD. That tool in your toolbox will determine how many you can help if you use that tool in your toolbox to help others. But you can't help others if you don't first help yourself. So anybody here who wants to help people in their lives, I caution you to tone it down slightly. Just tone it down slightly. You can't give what you haven't got. So you got to help yourself first. And you've just empowered yourself with an academic qualification. Much more than people standing on the podium, you think they're wearing red. Red apparently means I am a doctor or something, you know? Red, yeah. So VC had to correct me. I had it on the wrong way. I had it on without the arms in, but I'm a big shot doctor. I couldn't put this gown on. I never went to my own graduations, ever. So ladies and gentlemen, these things matter if you use them appropriately. One day you might be as embarrassed as me, claiming so many years of engagement with academia and other matters, and I couldn't put on a gown today. It's not important. What is important is how you use what you've got. Are you clear, ladies and gentlemen? I take you further through another 3 minutes or so of your time. The simplest technique to use what you've got. It's easy to talk to graduates about this because you all read to get here. Are you clear? Did you read to get here? Did you read to get here? Did you read to get here? You're allowed to respond, man. In church, you will say, Amen. Did you read to get here? Yes. Now keep reading. When you graduate, the degrees I've gotten, I promise you, the only time I knew what I studied was year after master's and PhD, that I began to comprehend what I was studying. So don't panic that, I've got this degree and I'm not sure what I know. It's not unusual. It's normal. Don't panic about it. You will learn more after your degree than you will learn with your degree. I assure you. So the trick, PhD, is to keep reading, or you'll be that PhD who can't string together a letter. Or you'll be that LLB graduate that I had in a meeting room one day, and I asked the person to keep minutes of a meeting. The person did not keep my minutes. At the end of the meeting, I said, what were you doing? They said, I was watching the time. They were keeping minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, 1, read, and never stop reading. Facebook is not reading. I want to clear the air. Twitter is not reading. Thabo Beste's sexy story on the TV is not reading. nor is it research. Reading is a book. Amabhuku, madoda. Ladies and gentlemen, amabhuku. There's nothing that will take you further in life than the ability to read a book. My father taught me spelling. Ubaba ka standard 6, wangifundisa ukufunda. You hear me? My father supervised my English spelling tests with standard 6. He read that man. There was always a paper in the house. One, read, never stop reading. Do social media for fun. Don't do it for intellectual development. One. Number two, seek out opportunities after reading to write something about what you've read. Even one paragraph about what you've read. If you want to post on Twitter about what you've read, post one intelligible paragraph that says, I read that 12% of all people who sit on boards of directors, only 12% understands corporate governance, but they are all directors on boards of governance. Right? That 12% of people who call themselves experts actually are just people who know something about a little. Do you follow? Next, read, write a little bit. 3, find a chance to talk about what you have read. Find a chance to tell someone about what you've read. Just share, even if you just moshering and you can't say clearly, just share with people what you've read. Say something about it. Because when you read and when you write, you read, then you write, then you talk. 3 times you have just studied something. Do you understand that? Read, write a little, but don't write books or something like that. You can write books, your blessing. Read, write, talk about what you've read and written. Have a view about it. No more, even if you're intelligible, even if you're sharing something that is incoherent and doesn't make sense, it's fine. The more you talk, the better you'll get if it comes from reading, writing, and talking about it. Now, if you get better at reading, writing, and talking about it, now you can seek out opportunities to go to other professionals. Abafana nawe, abafake lamakepisi lawa. What do they call these things? Right? Yeah. Abafake lamakepisi lawa mahle. Why aren't they wearing red ones in the front here? Okay. So those who wear those, you can then meet with them. Go to fellow professionals. Go to fellow professionals and talk and share what you think you know. And they'll embarrass you sometimes, and you will talk unintelligibly. I once went to a conference in London. I was invited by one of my employers many years ago, 25 years ago. Also, I worked for ESCOM. The ESCOM that used to keep the lights on. I used to work for that one. They invited me to a conference in London, and I was sitting in an audience like you, with fellow experts. I wasn't an expert. I was just a diploma graduate, way in my late 30s already. And I had a view about money laundering. It has just come out, the law had just come out on money laundering. And I had a view in this room amongst these international people about money laundering. I spoke absolute hogwash about this money laundering. Why? Because I didn't read before I went there. I just spoke about money laundering. Oh, if I'm a laundry, it's like clean. So money laundering, wash money laundering. So in my mind, I made it that simple. Money laundering, wash So I talk about wash. You follow me? Read a bit about what you want to talk about. So moving on. Read, write a little, talk a little, meet fellow professionals in what you are qualified in, and talk some more. When you talk some more, it will inspire you to write a few notes. To come in yesterday, I wrote these notes. My end game is going to be to say to you, read, write, talk a little, join others, talk a little more. Do you follow? Read, write, talk a little, join others qualified like you, talk a little more. You are creating more and more of an intellectual capacity within yourself, and you are creating your brand out there. People start to see and notice you. Now, when you're meeting others out there, make sure those others are professional forums. So if you're qualified in public administration, try to get involved in professional forums where they talk about public administration. There's about 50 angles on public administration. The one you have is not the only one. There are many, 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 many angles on public administration. You will hear that there's more about what you thought you know in others' brain power. You are developing an expertise. You will then, when you meet other peers, you will start to write more intelligibly, more intellectually. You will write opinion pieces, I promise you. You might give commentary in certain forums. You might seek out a media opportunity to say something to somebody in the media. You will find people will spot you, and one day somebody will be saying, hey, Kos, how about coming to work for ESCOM? And you wonder, why me with my little diploma? Why am I invited to come and work for ESCOM? I'm just a little policeman with a little diploma. I was a policeman. Yes, I used to in another lifetime. That's not important. What I'm trying to illustrate to you is, if you develop a path, the future is yours to explore. Read, write, talk a little, meet people like you, talk more, write better, give some public views, meet other experts, and you develop what I believe will be the ability to one day say, I am a academic, I am a practitioner academic. I have degrees, I have practical insights, I am considered an expert because I did these basic things throughout my career. And then you will work until you are 80. And you will work maybe until you are 100, but you won't be working. You will not be working if you do what I said. You will simply be growing all the time. So academics, the future is yours. It is up to you how you use what you've got to get where you want to be. Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Chairperson of Council, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. You're all going to succeed. It's all up to you how you're going to succeed. Thank you.
Honored guests, I shall now proceed with conferring degrees and award diplomas and certificates. I request the candidates to take up their positions. And I call on the Dean of the Faculty of Commerce, Administration and Law, Professor Schweling, to present the candidates for various degrees and diplomas. I now have the honor to request the Dean of the Faculty of Commerce, Administration and Law, Professor Schweling, to present the graduates to you.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to confer postgraduate degrees to the candidates as well as those persons in absentia whose names appear in the program.
By virtue of the power vested in me, I confer postgraduate degrees to candidates whose names appear on the program as requested.
Acting Chancellor, Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Mr. Gwala, Freedom Nkululeko Gwala, for the degree Doctor of Public Administration.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Public Administration on candidates whose names appear on the program.
The title of the study is Transforming Graduate Unemployment Through Policy, a case study of eThekwini Metropolitan Municipality, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. I will ask the supervisor, Professor Matsetwa, to read and to introduce the research, and the co-supervisor is Professor Julie.
The study's main research question was on how policy capacity will transform the challenge of graduate unemployment in eThekwini. The study was funded by the National Institute for the Humanities and Social Sciences. Rationale choices approach was used as its theoretical framework. The study further utilized government convergent mixed method approach, consisting of a survey of 143 unemployed graduates from eThekwini Metropolitan Municipality, 3 key informants from national and local government, and document analysis. The findings show that lack of work experience and poor economic climate, the past effect of COVID-19, the form and type of institution one attended, and skill versus job mismatch were the 5 major factors behind graduate unemployment. Moreover, graduates were more inclined towards believing that graduate employment programs were not very effective in assisting them in meeting career-related benefits. Less than half were confident that existing graduate employment program and policies will solve their joblessness. The findings further revealed that eThekwini policy capacity in transforming graduate unemployment was weakened by the bureaucratic system and their effects on decision-making, policy centralization at the national government, and the lack of stakeholder consultation. The study proposed a framework that demands that policymakers look at the 3 levels or dimensions that affect graduate employment policy. These were the student, institutional, and macro environment, and develop adequate capacities to manage these along the policy management cycle. Policymakers were asked to coordinate more towards graduate policy. Examiners were of the view that the thesis is of good standard and meeting out the international standard.
Congratulations, Dr. Kwala. Well done.
Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer the Doctor of Public Administration to Mr. Jabulani Malabuti Miyeme.
Confer the degree of Doctor of Public Administration on candidates whose names appear on the program.
The title of the doctorate is a critical analysis of the effectiveness of pro-poor local economic development strategies and the Big Five and obviously local municipalities of Africa under supervision of Professor Gilly. I'm going to ask her to introduce the research.
The study aimed to critically analyze local economic development as a tool for poverty alleviation. It was underpinned by 2 models, which were participatory theory and the honest theory of public participation. The study adopted a mixed method and data was collected using triangulation, whereby both questionnaires as well as semi-structured interviews were utilized. Interviews were conducted amongst 15 community members, while questionnaires were distributed to 45 municipal officials and 13 ward councillors. The study used thematic analysis to analyze the qualitative data, and SPSS was used to analyze quantitative data. The study revealed that local economic development tool was effective for several reasons,
namely municipality provides trading zones for people who want to start their own businesses. Local economic development also help local businesses with funding applications and providing small businesses with market stalls for street vendors, to mention a few. Despite LED being recommended and uploaded, the study further showed that challenges have been experienced during the implementation phase, which include LED plans not being executed, funders not responding in time, and at times there was a lack of support from municipality, involvement of politicians posed a serious problem, and funds were mostly given to family members, relatives, as well as friends. The study contributes by recommending the strengthening of agriculture and rural tourism framework, as it believes that these two facets contribute strongly to the economy of rural community and in poverty reduction. Examiners pointed out that the theme of the research and the topic are timely and will add crucial value in addressing socio-economic challenges relating to creation of employment, eradication of poverty, and ensuring equality in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jabulani Mhlabuthini Myeni. Thank you very much.
Acting Chancellor, I present Jabulani Myeni.
Congratulations, Dr. Jabulani Sabutini Yale. Congratulations, sir.
Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you a candidate for the Doctor of Public Administration, Mr. Lulani Tusi. The title of study is The Efficiency and Administrative Strategies of Service Delivery to Address the Public Wage Bill and Debt Constraints in KZN Provincial Government, South Africa, under supervision of Professor Jilly.
The doctoral study analyzed the influences of the government financial constraints resulting from excessive public wage bill and debts paid on public service delivery. Although the government implemented austerity measures to curtail the public wage bill and debts, it maintained a policy position that public service delivery is a top priority of the ruling administration. However, a reduction in the public wage bill inherently introduced tension between labor force and labor productivity, as it implies that government employees need to do more with less. The thesis investigated this challenge by analyzing the influence of the wage bill cutback measures on the performance of government employees and on infrastructure development. Following extensive interviews with experts and senior managers involved in public financial management inside and outside the provincial treasurer in KwaZulu-Natal region, the study found evidence that both the supply and the information into the budgetary processes. The examiners of the study indicated that this study is useful study that contributes in addressing debt constraint in KZN provincial government, South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Olani Fusi. Thank you.
Congratulations. Tusi, Dr. Tusi.
Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Masters of Public Administration.
I confer the degree of Master of Public Administration on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Mary Mthembu. Andile Sibonga konke Mshengu.
Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to ask you to present confer degrees of honors in public administration.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Administration honors on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Ayanda Thabo Kamani. Zinhle Gabashe. Sonto Mathuhlu Khumalo. Ntombi Futhi Angel Masejo, degree awarded with distinction. Nonhlakanipho Mazibuko. Sandiseni Linok Mbatha. Nosipho Thina Mchunu. Tebolenkosi Knowledge Mhlongo. Nomfundo Nompumelelo Mkhwanazi. Minenhle Pretty Msimango. Amisa Ntokozo Mthembu. Ntobeko Mthembu, degree awarded with distinction. Mendi Thandeka Mthethwa. Mandisa Sandile Mvubu. Buhle Buzile Vuyani Ngapha. Lungile Lucy Nene. Themba Siphosethu Ntimbane. Sinqobile Nzuza. Samgelisiwe Fikile Zikhali.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to confer degrees and award diplomas and certificates to the candidates as well as those persons in absentia whose names appear in the program.
I confer the degrees and awards, diplomas, and certificates to candidates whose names appear on the program, as requested.
Bachelors of Law.
Okay. I confer the degree of Bachelor of Laws on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Sandile Njabulo Biela. Thabiso Lundi Busane. Phelelisiwe Cele. Marobe Lebo Choma. Thabile Dladla. Luthando Luyanda Dlamini. Mduduzi Nhlanhla Dlamini. Minenhle Dlamini.
Keep an eye on the traffic now.
Nokwanda Zoleka Dlomo. Zwelihle Hope Dludla. Vamisile Sthembile Kumete. Sakhile Trevor Hlongwane. Sabelo Bright Jula. Nosfundo Snethemba Khanyile. Wait. Snethemba Khanyile. Lungelo Khuluse. Simpiwe Themba Khumalo. Sibusiso Kunene. Slindo Kuhle Zinhle Lushaba. Sibongile Mandisa Maduna. Mlamuli Amukelwa Makhathini. Nkosinathi Xolani Masango.
Vuyiswa Ntokozo Mashaba. Zodumo Mbambo. Nomzamo Mbatha. Phephelo Msizi Mbatha. Sinethemba Mbonane. Thabiso Mvelo Mbuyazi. Nhlakanipho Akhona Mchunu. Ncedisi Khulakahle Mcineka. Ayanda Sithandokuhle Mdletshe. Siphelele Memela. Mlungisi Mosi Mgenge. Tholakele Precious Mkhwanazi. Zinhle Colin Mkhwanazi. Hlengiwe Nhlanhla Mlambo. Sibusisiwe Patience Mlangeni. Khonzile Ncwanga. Anele Zamokuhle Mngomezulu. Sandile Innocent Mnqayi. Asanda Msane. Sesi Agnes Mshayisa. Nhlonipho lusizo mthethwa. Xolisile Mthimkhulu. Bhekizenzo Patrick Mthiane. Sizwe Siyanda Mtshali. Qeda uvalo Progressive Mtungwa. Samkelo Thanduxolo Mwasi. Bongumusa Mzolo. Fanele sibonge Hopewell Ndaba. Vuyo Ndala. Charity Thembelihle Ndlala. Sphamandla Simamisa Ndlovu. Cebo lenkosi Sean Ndovela. Phiko Busani Nene. Wandile Peaceful Ngemu. Mbali Confidence Ngobo. Ntombezinhle Ngcongo. Thembale Mlondi Ngaleka. Ntokozo Precious Nkosi. Samkelisiwe Ntuli. Akhona Nomalungelo Nxumalo. Humira Pillay. Frank Mhlengi Shangase. Hlengiwe Nothando Shinga. Nokwanda Mandisa Shoyisa. Nosipho Sibisi. Sifiso Thuthukani Sibiya. Zamokuhle Thobane Smelane. Melusi Senzo Sithole. Sandile Sifundo Sithole. Nenhlanhla Rosemary Sithole. Lindokuhle Bongimpilo Thobela. Thempelo Ntozakhona Thusi. Ayanda Twala. Tamlin Angelique Van. Ngobi Mhlonishwa Xulu. Aphiwe Zameko. Zama Smangele Zigalala. Nokwanda Wamukelwe Zincume. Lusanda Siyanda Zondi. Nomkhosi Nonhle Zulu.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Public Administration to the candidates whose names appear and the persons that's in absentia.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Public Administration on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Cebo lenkosi Biela. Noxolo Shongani Buthelezi. Smanga Signi Buthelezi. Kwanele Qele. Ntokozo Charity Chia. Senamile Dlamini. Kolega Portia Dlamini. Bongeka Dlomo. Nkosinathi Siphamandla Dube. Londeka Nomcebo Gazu. Thandiwe Gumede. Nonhle Nontobeko Gwala. Andiswa Songwane. Sam Busani Kanyile. Bongekile Khoza. Philane Mseshi Khoza. Bonisiwe Patricia Khuzwayo. Nqobile Yvonne Kunene. Nhlakanipho Blessing Mabiga. Sinethemba Nothando Mabiga. Nduduzo Mxolisi Manzini. Bekuyise Mathenjwa, Sandiso Sizwe Mavundla, Xolani Sandile Mavundla, Sinenhlanhla Sinegugu Noxolo Mbukazi, Surprise Ntokazi Mdleko, Unkosinathi Siyabonga Mdletshe, Nothando Senamile Mdletshe, Sinenhlanhla Simphiwe Mdletshe, Andile Ayanda Mkhize, Malwande Mkhize, Mnqobi Nkululeko Mkhize, Sithembile Mlambo, Khazile Angel Mngomezulu, degree awarded with distinction. Bongekile Bridget Mnguni, Sibusisiwe Ndumiso Mnguni, Andile Ningi Msweli, Bongekile Senzekile Mthembu, Kwanele Mthembu, Qiniso Ntombeziningi Mthethwa, Thandeka Nongcebo Mthethwa, Nompumelelo Confidence Mthimkhulu, Sinothile Lungelo Mthiyane, Mthokozisi Lungelo Fire Mthombeni, Vusumuzi Miekwa, Ntombenhle nomzi wonke nqayiyane. Ntombi kayise Wendi Ndlovu. Sembokuhle Anele Ndlovu, degree awarded with distinction. Nduduzo Nicholas Ngobo. Spesihle Ngubane. Sinegugu Sinqobile Ngwenya. Minenhle Valencia Nxumalo. Nokwanda Sandiso Nyawo. Senamile Nzuza. Seluleko Ayanda Sibisi. Neliswa Zinhle Sibiya. Nhlalente Simelane. Saziso Singuba. Sanduxolo Thwala. Nonkosi Nokuthula Vumisa. Anele Andiswa Vundla. Mpilisi Bright Kaba, degree awarded with distinction. Precious Silindelo Kaba. Thandiswa Londiwe Kaba. Nosipho Nontsikelelo Zikhali. Silindile Nhlonipho Zikhali.
Tembeka Zikhali. Mbali Evodia Zulu. Solagele Zinhle Zungu.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to award the Diploma in Logistics Management to the candidates whose name appear in the program.
I award the Diploma in Logistics Management on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Ngebo Ronald Pengu. Thabiso Nomfundo Biela. Brenda Sinenhlanhla Cele. Menzi Cele. Sibongile Nosipho Dlamini. Asemahle Sinenhlanhla Gasela. Sonwabise Sihlobise Kiemo Mohetswe Gugushe. Amos Gush. Andile Mhlengi Hlongwane. Siyabonga Sinqobile Khulu. Ntobeko Clinton Khumalo. Sakhile Quintin Qinisani Khumalo. Sanele Good Boy Magwaza. Thembile Nokuphiwa Mbele. Mlungisi Innocent Mhlongo. Banele Khethelo Mngomezulu. Lindo Kuhle Mthembu. Nondumiso Malindi Moriso Mvuna. Thuseka Palisa Mieza. Cindy Politeness Ngobo. Ayanda Kenneth Ntusi. Phumzile Bridget Khadebe. Siyabonga, Shishane, the diploma is awarded with a distinction. Andiswa Sithole, Nosiza Zamanxele, Xesibe, Seluleko Brightness Zulu,
Acting Chancellor, I request you to award the diploma in transport management to the candidates whose names appear in the program. Diploma in transport management. Sorry, Acting Chancellor.
I award the diploma in transport management on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Apologies, Chancellor. Acting Chancellor, I skipped some students. It's the diploma in management of cooperatives.
I confer the diploma in management cooperatives on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Nothando Nosipho Biela. Thabiswa Bongani Biela. Noxolo Mbali Dlamini. Zakhona Penelope Dlamini. Zinhle Phumelele Dube. Sandile Thembelani Kumete. Zama Thabiso Jadi. Minenhle Mondli Madondo. Nokwanda Hlobile Mashiyane. Nombuso Phindile Mathaba. Sanelisiwe Meyiwa. Zothani Ayanda Mhlongo. Sandile Mlotshwa. Feziwe Pinki Msomi. Sinenhlanhla Banele Precious Mthabela. Njabulo Sabatha Mthethwa. Silondile Purity Mthethwa. Siboniso Mthombeni. Luthando Awande Nduli. Lungani Siboniso Ngidi. Sifiso Msizi Ngongoma. Zinhle Siphelele Nkosi. Vele kwenzeka njalo. Andile Mahlobo Ntombela. Xoliswa Anita Ntombela. Sphosakhe Shange. Samkelisiwe Sukazi. Jacob Thusi.
Acting Chancellor, I ask you to award the Diploma in Transport Management to the names of the candidates that's in here. The program.
I award the diploma in transport management on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Ntokozo Siphamandla Dladla. Mbali Dlamini. Zama Gavu. Nontando Pretty Gumede. Siphilile Hadebe. Nomusa Ntombenhle Khaliswayo. Sibusisiwe Luthuli. Blessing Sibusiso Madida. Smanga Madlala. Nothando Immaculate Marule. Dick Tulane Mbele. Siphindo Kuhle Ayanda Mpamali. Phakamani Njabulo Mhlongo. Sakhile Wiseman Mhlongo. Siphakeme Mhlongo. Fikisiwe Veronica Mkhize. Sinenhlanhla Hopewell Mkhwanazi. Nontobeko Sinenhlanhla Mlambo. Nosipho Sibahle Mncube. Andile Sithembiso Mpanza. Bonisiwe Mthethwa. Minenhle Silindokuhle Mthembu. Nhlanzeko Myeza. Samkelisiwe Nontethelelo Ndaba. Gcinisile Dlangisa. Nkululeko Ndlovu. Vezokuhle Siphiwe Sihle Nkosi. Iviwe Nokhangela. Thingo lwenkosazane Queeneth Phakathi. Lungelo Innocent Shezi. Thokozani Maqhawe Sokhela. Nhlanhla Xolani Tembe. Vezile Ndumiso Tembe. Nqobile Gratitude Twala. Minenhle Zikhali. Zethembiso Zungu.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to award the highest certificate in accountancy to the candidates whose names appear in the program.
I award higher certificate in accountancy on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Unathi Ntolo.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to award the National Higher Certificate in Marketing to the candidates whose names appear in the program.
I award the National Higher Certificate in Marketing on candidates whose names appear on the program in absentia.
Acting Chancellor, we have one more special award. and that is what we call the top achievers in the Faculty of Commerce, Administration and Law. In this session, we want to honor 3 candidates. This award is sponsored by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Matosi. So I'm going to read your name, and then please come to the stage immediately. So the first one, Bachelors of Law, Mr. Kinisu Sabisi. I'm going to read the other names as well, although we will, just for the sake of time. The next one is from the Diploma in Logistics Management. Mr. Siyambonga Shishani. And then the last person, you can please come, please come, colleagues, come let you. Then the last one for this session is Bachelor of Administration, Miss Shazili Angel Nkumizulu.
The acting Chancellor, Prof. X Mtosa, the acting Vice Chancellor, Prof. Nomlomo, the whole executive management, the President of the Convocation in his absentia, the Dean of Students, the Deans of all faculties, the Student Representative Council as led by myself and the SG, Mr. Kulani Mpiliso, the parents, guardians, and graduates. All protocol observed. I greet you all, Sanbonan. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you on this day of jubilation. I cannot express enough the feeling of sharing a space and rubbing shoulders with victors. Today, all of us are afforded an opportunity to celebrate our triumph. It is the university management, academic staff, support staff, parents and guardians, and graduates who ensure that we meet here today. We should all rejoice. The victory belongs to all of us. Lapha namhlanje sizobungaza sihalalise kungenxa yenu baphathi besikhungo, kungenxa yenu bafundisi, kungenxa yenu bazali nabaqaphi, futhi kungenxa yenu bafundi. Masijabuleni sonke ngokuba sonke sibe neqhaza kule mpumelelo ebungazwa namhlanje. As the SRC, we know almost all predicaments that University of Zululand students face. Being a black student from poor backgrounds in these historically disadvantaged institutions is not a smooth pathway for all students. It comes with different hindrances. However, we are here today as a proof beyond any reasonable doubt that if we are dedicated to the cause, we can overcome against all odds. The words of the former president of the ANC in South Africa, President Thabo Mbeki, are much relevant at this point when he said, and I quote, "Those who complete the cause will do so only because they do not, as fatigue sets in, convince themselves that the road ahead is too long. The loneliness is impossible to bear, and the prize itself is of doubtful value." Close quotes. Graduates, you have just been conferred your qualifications. Unizulu is known for producing globally competitive graduates. Go out there and represent as well as you become the university convocation. Wherever you go, ensure that the university flag flies high. Ensure that when you encounter people, especially young ones, outside the premises of this institution, they are encouraged and inspired to join the Unizulu community. As some of you live to join the labor force, make it a point that you do not forget where you come from, so you know where you're going. Nibazise abanye abantu, ikakhulukazi abamnyama, ngoba thina ndlu emnyama, iningi lethu alibanganalo ithuba elifana naleli lokufunda sigogoda. As some of you are graduating for postgraduate qualifications, that's honors, masters, and PhDs, as I congratulate you as the president of the SRC, I would like to challenge you that in addition to your intentions of furthering your studies, of course, that you strive to contribute positively to the body of knowledge and further to join the struggle of decolonizing the education system. May all those who agree with the idea of decolonizing the education system so that it reflects the aspirations and experiences of Black people in general and Africans in particular say, forward with the struggle of decolonizing the education system, forward. Forward with the struggle of decolonizing the education system, forward. Our university, in its goals and objectives, it has a vision of becoming a node for an African thought. All of you who are graduating here today, you are motive forces towards the realization of the university goal. Kusifanele ukuba sibonga abazali bethu ngokusikhulisa kanzima besifundisa kwaze kwafika lesikhathi. Abanye namhlanje uvuka ithemba lokuthi ikati lizosuka ezweni. Abanye abasenabo abazali, kodwa ngethemba esinalo lapha abakhona siyakholelwa ukuthi bayanconcoza futhi bayazigqaja ngani. Makukhanya ze ningabalibali abazali. Baba nani ekusukela ekuzaleni kwenu bathatha isinqumo sokunigcina banifundisa kwaze kwafika la namhlanje, ningabakhohlwa abazali benu. Bazali, namhlanje lolu suku lwenu nani. Ukujabula nokukikiza kunifanele. Imizamo yenu namhlanje iphenduke impumelelo. Izithombo zenu enazitshala eminyakeni eminingi eyadlule zithelile namhlanje. Ikabishe belishebo ngalezi ingane zenu uma kukhanya leyophenduka isaladi. Nobhontshisi ebenudla njalo obuyintombi yendawo ngalezi ingane zenu
ngey'beletho zenu senowudla mhlanizwe nowukhumbula amakukhanya kuphuma ilanga. Bafundi, njengomkhandlu omele abafundi, siyazigqaja ngani. Nokulwile ukulwa okuhle, namhlanje usuku lwenu olukhulu ukunazo zonke iy'nsuku ey'khona empilweni yomuntu ezelwe. Also, on behalf of the SRS also, I would like to have a special acknowledgement of a leader and my comrade in Comrade Sandiseni, who's also graduating here today. Congratulations, siyanibongela, siyalebohela, siyavuyisana nani, siyabonga, nithokoze.
Acting Chancellor, Professor Nkosi, Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Nomlomo, University of Zululand Management and EXCO and MANCO, academic and support staff, President of Conversation and Alumni, representatives from Mkwanazi Traditional Authority, chiefs of the local traditional authority, SRC President and representatives, guest speaker, Professor Goss, mayors of the district and local municipalities and special guests, business partners, parents, guardians, relatives, spouses, and of course, you, the graduates. Let me begin by quoting one of my favorite blues guitarist, B.B. King, who said, and I quote, "The beautiful thing about learning," and I would imagine and add attaining a qualification, is that no one can take it away from you. And as perhaps Professor Goss said this morning, it's up to how you use it from there on. A graduation signifies many things. It indicates progress, growth, and transformation. I'm honored to share the momentous occasion with you. The graduation is a validation of your hard work and your dedication through very trying circumstances, including the perilous global pandemic, the energy crisis, which of course has resulted in regular load shedding. Congratulations on your graduation, even under these trying circumstances. Your graduation has placed you in good stead to navigate through challenges of life. Stay focused on your goals, otherwise the time and effort and money that you have spent at the university will be a waste. Your journey as a student may come to an end today, and as Professor Goss indicated, you are beginning a new one and beginning to learn some more. To succeed, you should it should create a springboard for your success. Please remember that success at work is not achieved in the first month that you arrive and spend at your job. It requires further hard work and diligence, commitment, and increasingly so, and perhaps what would Chancellor would have said, Chancellor Zondo, and of course, Professor Goss, your integrity in the work that you do. I wish to express my gratitude to the key role players in your journey that, in spite of the said challenges, collectively contributed to make this the ceremony a success. Namely, of course, the Vice Chancellor and her Deputy Vice Chancellors, the Deans and Heads of Schools and Faculties, Protective Services Division, the Communications and Marketing Division, the Office of the Registrar, of course, with the hard work that you've put in, the Physical Planning and Operations Department, the Health Services, of course, Sister Mkwanazi, the cleaning staff of the university, the SRC, you graduate students and your extended families, congratulations as graduates of 2022 and best of luck in your dealings. Thank you, Siyabonga, Danki, and Kos. Thank you very much.
I hereby declare this congregation session officially closed. On behalf of the congregation, I thank you for your presence in this ceremony. I request everyone to stand.
Viva profesores, viva